Welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to support my daily Eternal Magic offerings while getting amazing perks like the BoshNRoll Discord community, have me play your deck on the channel, or listen sideboard guides before tournaments, check out the Patreon or YouTube membership program. This channel is possible because of these amazing sponsors. Check them out, all their links are in the video description. As always, thanks for being here. Let's go play some Magic. Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing some Vintage at the request of Patreon subscriber rGold. I was asked to play Vintage Dealer's Choice, and I have not explored this Oath of Druids deck that has recently taken the format by storm. Obviously, Oath of Druids, not a new card to Vintage, one of the oldest archetypes. This card has been an impact in all formats where it's legal, banned in Legacy. Pretty serious thing here. 1 and a green enchantment. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player chooses target player who controls more creatures than they do and is their opponent. That's a lot of weird Oracle text to say, choose an opponent. That player reveals cards from the top of their library until they reveal a creature card. If that player does, they put the card onto the battlefield and all their cards revealed this way into their graveyard. It's been a long time since I actually read Oath of Druids out loud. Jesus, that was a mouthful. Basically, if your opponent has more creatures than you at the start of your upkeep, you flip cards off the top of your deck till you get a creature. That comes into play. Everything else goes to the graveyard. And your opponent does the same if you have more creatures than them on their upkeep. That, of course, it's kind of like Reanimator in that you get a big, stupid creature way before you're supposed to. In this case, they come out of your deck rather than out of your graveyard, though. Oath of Druids, it naturally abuses decks that are just built around creatures anyway. Decks like the Initiative, one of the top decks in the format. Decks like Workshops, one of the top decks in the format. Decks like the blue control-y Tinker Piles built around things like Lavinia and Orcish Bowmaster, also a top deck in the format. There's a lot of creatures in Vintage right now, which makes Oath pretty well positioned. And for decks that don't have creatures or refuse to play them, we have 4 copies of Forbidden Orchard. Tap, add 1 mana of any color, and when you tap this for mana, target opponent creates a 1/1 colorless spirit creature. You can give them creatures if they don't want to participate in giving them to you. Also, Oko, Thief of Crowns. You can turn their Mox into an Elk, and then they have a creature all of a sudden. Lots of cool ways to make this happen. And historically, there's been lots of cool creatures to hit off of Oath. Sometimes they just go straight into Grizzlebrand and then start drawing 14 cards, and that's that. Brian Kelly won Vintage Champs one year with an Oath Bomberman deck. It oathed into Auriok Salvagers, and since you have to mill to hit the creature, you mill the Black Lotus and the Pyrite Spellbomb, and then you Bomberman from there. There's the old Golden Gun Oath, 1-hit KOs. You have Blightsteel Colossus, you have Emrakul, and then Dragon Breath. I think it's Dragon Breath. There's an aura from Onslaught, I believe, that when a large enough creature enters the battlefield, it jumps out of your graveyard and attaches to it, gives that creature haste. A bunch of different versions of this have happened in the past. And this one's just all in on Atraxa. 4 copies of this one. She's big, she has Vigilance, she has Lifelink. She provides card advantage without drawing cards. She pitches to Force of Will, Force of Negation, Force of Vigor. She's a banger to put in off of Show and Tell. And one of my favorite pieces of tech in this deck, Flash. You may put a creature card from your hand onto the battlefield. If you do, sacrifice it unless you pay its mana cost -2. This is basically just a draw 4 to 6 card, 2 mana instant, that cycles an Atraxa out of your hand, puts it in the graveyard, and replaces it with a bunch of spells. The biggest problem with Oath decks is what happens when they draw their monsters. And this is probably the best version of Oath I've ever seen at dealing with a monster in the hand. Because it's main decking for Show and Tell, plus the Flash, 5 ways to actually just use her. Your Oath target being blue turns on your forces. And Atraxa, even though she costs 7, is among the more castable Oath monsters that there are, or reanimation monsters that there are. Especially in a deck full of Moxen and Black Lotus, you'll get there. And then in the background of all this, guess what? We're also a Tinker Bolas' Citadel deck. Surprise, nerds. Here they come. Just a lot of powerful cards here. Oath is well positioned because of all the creature decks, and this is phenomenal at using Atraxa when you draw her, which generally Oath decks aren't always great at. I actually love Oath of Druids. I love this deck. I love this card. If this deck continues to be well positioned and viable into Eternal Weekend, it will be on my short list. And this is my first time playing this iteration of it, and I'm excited to get some reps. Let's jump in. I'm on the draw on round 1 against a Lurrus deck. I am going to keep my hand here. It doesn't have the Oath, but it has Spell Pierce to protect the Oath. Like, if I draw an Oath, I have Mox, Orchard, Pearl, or Mox, you know what I'm saying. Mox, Oath, Spell Pierce your interaction, Atraxa time. Opponent is starting off strong with Mox into Spire of Industry. Spire of Industry is interesting. I don't know what specifically this build is. I've seen a lot of Grixis Lurrus, and we're probably going to see an Ancestral Recall here. I've seen like Grixis and Jeskai. Not sure what this build is. I wonder if this is some sort of like 8-cast variant. I don't even know. But that was a pretty good turn 1, all the same. I'm going to go Tropical Island Mox here. I'm holding Boseiju, I'm holding Spell Pierce. And I'm probably going to just cool my Jets on the Brainstorm until next turn. Urza Saga. I can't just Boseiju that now before it even knows how to make mana. I think I want to see what the rest of their turn looks like. Okay, nothing. I will Boseiju the Saga. That thing's scary. Let's see if this deck has lands with types in it. Alrighty, failed to find. Okay. I think I have to Brainstorm here. And they can't play Hull Breacher because they are a Lurrus deck. They could play Bowmaster, but they didn't. Put back Trop here, and I think I put back Soul Ring, and then I can play... I assume there's a land. Yeah, there's Underground Sea. All right, yeah, I can put back Trop Soul Ring, and then I can Vamp for Oath and set it up with counter backup. That's the plan. Another Seat of the Synod from the opponent. Goblin Engineer, that's fun. Okay, where are we going with that? I can also just Vamp for Tinker if I think that's going to be better than Oath, which I actually do believe that to be the case here. A Vamp Tutor. Okay, so I have Tinker with Force backup, like I just said. I have my land drop still ready to go. I'm at 19 life. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with... Or I'm at 17 once this Vamp Tutor resolves. I think I'm going to get Tinker rather than Oath. Now that they have an actual thing going on over there. If they had just played a land and passed, I think I would have gone Oath. But I am in it to win it here. Sack my Emerald. Maybe I'm supposed to sack Pearl. There's no Yogwill in this deck. They're vamping in response. And are they going to draw a card? Oh, Force Pitching Spell Pierce. They have a card on top of their deck that I have to presume is Voltaic Key, or a Manifold Key. Bolus the Citadel. Oh, well, since they stop immediately, you're dead. Top, Ruby, Ancestral myself, holding priority in case there's an instant on top. It's Gataxian Probe, okay? Show and Tell Atraxa. Yeah, you better concede. Cool. Nice. Alright, opponent is on some artifact sauce over there. I like Force of Vigor. I could bring in Strip Mine versus the Urza Saga. Just pad out that, if that's a big part of their plan. Not sure how I feel about Dismember. I definitely want Force for Strip Mine. They do have utility creatures that represent combos in their deck. We've seen one of them. Is Show and Tell risky against this deck? They went Hellbent pretty quick that game, but that was after having a turn 1 Time Walk into Ancestral line. I think I'm going to shave Gaia's Blessing, Show and Tell. Can I shave a Lauren Revealed, or is that important under Bolus' Citadel? Okay, I'm shaving another Show and Tell. I have no idea if this is right, but it feels right. I know what I want in, I'm not sure what I want out. This main deck is built so smoothly that there's not really full bricks that are easy to cut. Well, that is a turn 1 Oath of Druids with Orchard. I will keep. I guess they're a Lurrus deck, so what's the worst that could happen out of a Show and Tell? It's just Time Vault. Yeah, I got Gataxian Probed. They see the heat here. They've got a Saga. I would love to draw Force of Will right now. They also saw the top card of my deck. They know everything I know here. And a bunch of stuff that I don't. Force of Will, Spell Pierce, Flusterstorm, Mox Emerald. Okay. Ruby, Emerald, Orchard, Crypt. I probably could have done this in a way that plays around Mindbreak Trap. But here's my Oath. Okay, that's in there. And I'm gonna deploy the Lotus too. Let's just get it out there. Let it be known. And hope that they don't come up with Grafdigger's Cage this turn. Another Saga. And Time Vault. Okay, well, I'm going to float a blue in their end step, giving them a 1/1. You have to do it in the end step. Oath just doesn't trigger if they don't have more creatures than you. So you can't like get to your upkeep, trigger Oath, and then float a mana. Got a Crypt Flip that I won. Then we're going to put an Atraxa into play. Yes, I'd like to use this ability. There's Atraxa. She gives me a bunch of bananas here. I can cast this Bolus to Citadel quite easily. I just milled over my Tinker. Yeah, they're done. GTFO. That is the Oath of Druids nut draw. Just turn 1 Oath with the ability to give a creature. Love to see it. Let's go. This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks, and groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there. I'm on the draw in round 2. I am going to keep this hand. I have double Force of Will, and I have the Oath. If I find an Orchard, we're in business. Double Force looking good against his Mishra's Workshop. Mana Vault resolves. Mox Sapphire resolves. Million men in the pool. We're trying to bust a cap here. This is actually a little awkward because if I had a green source, I would actually prefer that they do have this thing in play, as weird as that is. I'm going to force pitching Show and Tell. I want the Cataxian Probe because I need a redraw here, although Probe is not normally good in this matchup. It's also a blue card for force. Oh, speaking of blue cards. Okay, I'm going to Ancestral myself first here, and then I can decide if I need to draw a card with Probe. Yikes. Okay, now I do want to Probe because Misstep is a free pitch to force. Island Time Walk Saga over there, and I have still missed on my action. Well, plenty of action. I've missed on my land. Okay, so they take 1 from this Mana Vault, and they can go Urza Saga Time Walk here. I could force a negation the Time Walk. They are close to, what the fuck, a card that I've never seen in my life. Okay, when Saravok's Tome enters the battlefield, you take the initiative. Oh no. Add a colorless. If you have the initiative, add double colorless. 3 tap. Exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a non-land card. You may cast that card without paying its mana cost. Activate only if you've completed a dungeon. Well, that seems like some horse hockey. I am going to force a negation that, pitching the Mental Misstep. I was ready to force a negation a Time Walk here, and they played this initiative thing that also cast Time Walk. Yikes, I've never seen that card in my life. It seems pretty solid, though. Okay. I am very interested in a Forbidden Orchard right now. What started out as a pretty strong hand and even drew 5 cards on turn 1 is somehow behind the 8 ball here. I drew a Force. I have to fire this Brainstorm in. Love to find a Black Lotus or something to get it going here. Okay, backup Oath can go. Sensei's Top I'm pretty happy with. Narset, not really for this matchup, but she is a blue card I'm pretty happy to pitch. Unfortunately, I can't get rid of everything. Yeah, I think Narset is the one to go here. Then fetch for Tropical Island. Play the top. And pass. If they want a Time Walk here, they don't get to activate their Saga. That's actually a real decision they have to make. The Saga has triggered and learned how to make constructs. Here's the island. And yeah, they are going to let the Saga run its course and then try to Time Walk and get 2 big attacks. They can Time Walk off Black Lotus that they tutor, so that's not even, like, crazy. I could try to spin top, but I'm not gonna. I would be looking for Forbidden Orchard if I spun the top there, and the posture they just took, the decision they just committed to, is gonna result in creatures being in play. Oath of Druids. If they play a Grafdigger's Cage in their main, they can tutor it here and turn off Oaths. But a cool trick that this build of the deck can do with the Show and Tells is If you trigger Oath into a Grafdigger's Cage, it will do as much as it can, which means it mills all the cards you reveal, except for the monster, which it tries to put into play from your deck, which it can't, and then you just draw the monster for turn, which means you basically get to Vamp Tutor for a Show and Tell bullet. Okay, there's a construct. But if they tutor for Grafdigger's Cage, then they're not getting the Black Lotus that casts their Time Walk. Okay, here we go. Moment of truth. I can force the Time Walk, untap Atraxa, and go to town. Yeah, they tutored the Lotus. Good news, everybody. We're going to take 5. They're going to Time Walk. I'm going to force it. And then I'm going to put Atraxa into play and hopefully win from there. Ooh, they have something that comes out of the workshop. 6 mana spell right now. Thought Monitor, I don't care about. At least not compared to this Time Walk that I know is in their hand. Mox Jet, I'm taking 6 here. Time Walk, this is the force. Pitching the Show and Tell. I would like the Time Walk of my own. If I can Oath into Atraxa, Time Walk, Oath into another Atraxa, we're out of here. 1 card left in their hand. Okay, it's go time. All right, show me an Atraxa. Yes, please. Atraxa triggers. I've got Bosh'nu as a land. That sounds good. Oko as a Planeswalker. Force of Negation as an instant. I don't actually want, or Atraxa is a blue card for force in my hand, so I do want Atraxa in my hand. And then Oath of Druids as an enchantment. Cool. I'll take them. And then I draw for turn. Ooh, flash. I can zap in this other Atraxa. I don't even think that's good, but it can be done. I think Bosh'nu's better as a land, and if that's the case, maybe I was supposed to take the Orchard. In the hero play here is flash in the other Atraxa, and just hope that there is a single Mox somewhere in the top 10 cards of my deck. I'm not a hero, though. I'm a coward. Bosh'nu does activate for 1. Such a tilt. All right, I am going to play it, though. I get a top activation, and I can still Time Walk. Tinker, Trap. Okay, well, here's all of these. If Tinker goes away, do I care? I don't think so. I could flip the top, put a Tropical Island in my hand, and then mill that away. Because land drop, is land drop better than... No, I'm about to trigger another Atraxa. I'll have plenty of cards here. Just going to Time Walk and keep it going. And there's a Gaia's Blessing in my deck, so I'm not going to deck myself on the way through. Okay, yeah. I love vintage players. They're just like, oh, Time Walk? Yeah, I'm dead. Cool. Force of Vigor. We're against some sort of shop strategy. Blue shops strategy. The Force of Vigors come in. Strip Mine. This looks a lot like what I did last round. Mental Misstep. Gitaxian Probe. The difference is that this is a shop deck where Mental Misstep and Gitaxian Probe are pretty mid. Where last round we were against a blue Luris deck, where these cards are actually good. We saw at least Time Walk in their deck. I think I want to keep my Flusterstorm around. Maybe I back off of a Force of Negation, or maybe that's legacy thinking, and in Vintage I should just be always keeping all my forces in, because my deck is built to rebuild my hand. And I don't know what the full extent of their shops build is. Shops generally has spheres and wastelands and strip mines in it, which means I want my Lorien Revealed. Okay, I'm gonna shave the Flusterstorm, and it is what it is. If they get me with a Ancestral Recall or something. Wow, this is a very close to being a heater of a hand. If it had Oath or Atraxa in it, it would be great. One of the structural issues with the Oath deck is sometimes your colored mana source is Forbidden Orchard, and this land sucks if you're not winning because they have 1/1s. If you're just giving them an ever-growing army just by trying to play the game, that's a tough sell. And I think I mulligan this hand. I can't even hardcast this Force of Vigor, even though I have 5 mana on turn 1. I'm gonna send it. Okay, this one has a turn 2 Oko. Is that even good? I mean, Bosh'nu's pretty good. Okay, I will keep this and send the Gaia's Blessing into my deck. This is a cantrip, but I think I'd rather have the Atraxa in hand for all my Show and Tell and Flash sort of hits. Cool. All right, decision's been made. Mox Pearl. Soul Ring. They're doing it. And pass, okay. Oh, Force of Vigor, right off the tippity top. Wish I had... Oh, I have freaking Atraxa. I'm like over here like, man, I wish I had a green card that I didn't mind pitching. That's kind of the whole point of the deck. Atraxa can just go. I'm just going in the upkeep here. If they're going to skip their land drop, putting these two things into play, I'm taking them. And then I can Besage you the next thing. Okay. Necessary emergency force of will, pitching Thoughtcast. Yeah, you better. Okay. Get to keep your things. I can Besage you something in the end step and then untap and shove Oko. Nettle Cyst. This is a large-ish creature. I can turn Nettle Cyst into an elk, or I can just delete this thing now. I could also turn Soul Ring into an elk and cut off their mana. Okay, I am going to Besage you the Nettle Cyst here. We've seen islands in their deck, so I know they're going to get something out of this. Just hope they don't Spell Pierce me with it. Ooh, end step Ancestral, they tricked me real good. Tough crowd. Okay. Force of Will in my hand now. Fetch. I do have black cards I'd like to cast if I draw. I'm going to get Underground Sea and play the Oko. I can Elk their Soul Ring to try to stunt their mana. Yeah, that's what I'll do. It also gives them a creature if I draw Oath. This play felt better before the Ancestral recalled, but here we are. Patches of Houlihan. It's in play. My deck does not play a balance. I play Oath of Druids, that's my balance. Oh no, the Tome. Well, they have the initiative now. That sucks. And they're Thoughtcasting. And they're attacking Oko. Daddy needs an Oath of Druids right now. Show and tell. Disappointing. I'm good here. We don't need to play this out. I'll be a vintage player. And they had to spend another turn attacking Oko, and then maybe I draw Oath, and then maybe Atraxa stabilizes from there. Whatever. Off it. Flusterstorm coming back in now that I've seen Force of Will and Thoughtcast on top of just Time Walk. I do still like Show and Tell. Is Force of Negation mid? That book, that friggin' initiative book, I'm pretty worried about that actually. Are they drawing cards? Do I need Narset? And they could play the One Ring. It costs the same amount as the book. Okay, Narset's out. I'm going in. Okay, I will keep this. I can Vamp Tutor for Oath or Vamp Tutor for Atraxa, depending on which one seems like it would be the better line, given whatever their turn one is. Okay, I'm passing. I can even Vamp for Tinker, but I have to use my land drop before I do that. Oh, Black Lotus, that's a good one. Patches, it's in. Another Patches. The race is on. Okay, I'm gonna Vamp for Atraxa here, just straight up. But first, I'm gonna cycle Lorien Revealed. If I don't have to give them creatures, I'm not gonna. Okay, Vamp for Atraxa. Then I can play Show and Tell. If they have Force of Will, I'm in trouble. But this is the big move. Play the game. Okay, Atraxa's in. Let's see how hard they punish me with what they put in. Thought Monitor. That card's okay, I guess. It's like Atraxa, but only draws 2. This is a lot of gas. Atraxa is the only creature. Time Walk's a pretty good sorcery. Better than Show and Tell. Or Rate Firing Show and Tell would actually be pretty interesting. Polluted Delta is my land. Force of Negation is my instant. If I do it like this, if I take Show and Tell over Time Walk, then I have another round of Atraxa coming. If I do it like this, I can pitch the Atraxa to the Force of Negation, and then just try to Time Walk and get it going that way. I think that's better. I will do it like that. It was too much to ask to get a Black Lotus in that pile, though. 7/7 Lifelink Death Touch lines up pretty well against 1/1 Ward 2. I've been losing to Patches in like all formats lately, and I hope to go over the top of them here. Something like Caracas would be a nightmare. They know I have Force blue card, Force of Negation blue card. I can go over the top of most creatures. This is not my fight. That's bait. Urza's Saga is not a Caracas. Good news, everybody. They certainly don't have any attacks. Oath would be an insane draw. Oh, Ancestral Recall is also a pretty insane draw, though. Hard to complain. Just going to go to combat first. I know that's happening. 14 life swing. And if I Time Walk and they Force, I can Ancestral in response. Though I'm fairly confident that Time Walk is just more important than Ancestral here, and I can just fire that off. Okay, Ancestral target me. That just happened. and Time Walk. Doesn't target, but I would target me if I had to choose. Okay, I have a Tinker here. That's a good one. Into my bonus turn, Show and Tell can be more Atraxas. Fire Atraxa in, and now I can Citadel from 30 life. That's so much life. Truly shocking life total. I wish one of these forces was of will, but this is what we got here. They haven't shown me counter magic yet. Saving my land drop. There's the land drop. Mox Jet, we're up to 3. Force of Will on top of the deck. I can Show and Tell Atraxa, clear the top card, try to keep going, or I could just put Oko into play, or I could pass with double Force of Negation protection. If I Show and Tell, they might put in something spooky. That beats me somehow. Force, blue card, blue card. The Atraxa is also a blue card. Okay, I'm going to play Oko. Oko's in here. I think I just make a food. And pass. I'm at 30. They're dead on board. I have 3 forces to protect me. And they basically didn't do anything last turn. They're losing some life. Phyrexian Metamorph. Okay. That's a powerful spell. Except I'm going to force it, and they know I have Force of Negation to fight back. Force off the top of my deck, cost another force under it. Oh yeah. Atraxa plus Bolas' Citadel plus Oko. What a team. This deck is pretty nice. I can't deny it. We're a few rounds into the video. Thanks for sticking with me. Friendly reminder that if you're still here and having fun, smash that subscribe button. And if you want to play what I'm playing, you can use my affiliate link for TCG Player to support the channel while you shop for cards, and you can try any deck anytime with a cardhoarder.com loan account for Magic Online. All these links are in the video description below. Now back to the league. I'm on the draw in round 3. My hand has 1 land, it has the Oath and DT, and Force blue card, and I can redraw. There are 14 more lands, plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 artifacts. 8 if we count Soul Ring. That get me casting spells, plus Lurian Reveal. There's 2 of those. I will keep this. I'm pretty into Force of Will, and knowing what my opponent has in their hand in this vintage format. Also just leaning into the deck building with Atraxa as your monster, also being force fodder. You just get it all. Another Saga strategy. There's been a lot of those lately. Is that card good? Oh no, the third Atraxa is actually mega shitty. That is among the things that I don't want to draw. I found a Mana Crypt, and their hand is PO, Force of Will, Coveted Jewel, Tolarian Academy. Oh, yikes. What do we do with this information? They cannot quite Coveted Jewel next turn. Oh, I don't play a Bayou, which is awkwardly the land that I actually need here. Okay, Scalding Tarn, Mana Crypt. I'm going to cast a Demonic Tutor here. And Bolas' Citadel can go over the top of a Covetous Jewel. If I grab Tinker. I could also grab Show and Tell, but then they put in the Covetous Jewel. I don't think I want to let them do that. Yeah, I think it's Tinker, and as long as I don't draw Bolas' Citadel for my turn, we're in good shape. This could also be a cool spot for Flash, because then I get to draw my 4 to 6 cards, and they don't get anything. Still pretty sure it's just Tinker. Okay, Tinker's in my hand, pass the turn. We see a Force of Will over there. They can't cast their Jewel. They can't cast their Outcome either. There's the shop. Get the fuck out. Come on with this. That card's restricted. All right, well, what do I do with this information? And I guess I force this thing. I am going to lose if I don't. I hope they force me back. Let's at least get this PO out of here. Okay, they are forcing me back. Now, what do I do with that? Force PO, they have Jewel, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, they can cast Jewel next turn. God, what a stupid draw. Outrageous. And Green Source? Forbidden Orchard? Okay, okay. We're suddenly back in this. And they get their Jewel, but I get my Atraxa. I mean, the Jewel's probably better than Atraxa here, but I'm still going to send it. I don't know. Like, I'll get the Jewel eventually. Let's have a party. Okay. Force of Will is probably going to be my instant. I want Boseiju, but I'd also like to make a land drop this turn. Boseiju clearing the sphere just goes nuts. if I grab Forbidden Orchard, there's only one Atraxa left in my deck. But I guess you can just go forever because they legend rule each other and there's a Guy's Blessing in there somewhere. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, I actually think I'm going to take the Forbidden Orchard over the Boseiju or the other land. And then the Oath and the top. Done. Play Orchard. Pass the turn. They get one big turn here. They did just draw 3. They have Tolarian Academy coming. They can activate Urza Saga. They can do a lot here. But at least I'm not just freaking dead, which was the case before I drew the show and tell. They ripped the Trinisphere. I ripped the show and tell. Everyone's hanging out. This Academy is going to make infinite mana. But tucking the Force in my hand is actually good, because if they try to PO, they have to pick up their Trinisphere. Another Construct, activation. If they can just assemble Vault Key here, they win. I mean, there's a lot of ways they win. But there's also a lot of ways they lose, and I'm just crossing my fingers and hoping for the best. Manifold Key. Cool. The key can untap the Jewel. Not that they need more mana. We're just casting Tinker here, and then I lose. Displacer Kitten. Oh, I don't think I can beat this either, but let's find out. Mox Opal. Costs 3. Flickers the Jewel, though. The Jewel can just pay for anything under... Yeah, they basically just draw their deck here, right? Alright, I'm good. I'm good. Fine. Fine. Nice Trinisphere. Fine. Force of Vigor, Strip Mine. This is the plan again. Here they come. Probe and Misstep. Can't come out. I still like Flusterstorm and Spell Pierce. They're a PO deck, and Spell Pierce can hit the shit like Trinisphere. Force Negation, very good against this deck. Narset's very good against this deck. Show and Tell is kind of scary against this deck, knowing that they have the Covetous Jewel and the Displacer Kitten. I'm just going to do it like this. The turn 2 Oath of Druids with Force and Force, I'll keep. I don't have the means to give them a token yet, but Island Go. Force blue card, Force green card. I'm ready if I draw an Atraxa. Emerald, Jet, Tomb, Time Vault, Black Lotus. A powerful vintage hand they've drawn. Please cast Tinker. Karn the Great Creator. Well, I'm going to Force of Will that. Force Pitching Flash. Okay, that's handled. And I'm going to draw before I just fire the Force in. I can hit them in their upkeep if I'm worried about it. Ancestral Recall. Good card. Put it on the stack. Okay, Mana Crypt, Oath of Druids. I could just try to hold out on this Force of Vigor. I am going to hold out on the Force of Vigor. I'm going to play the Oath, but I'm not going to force them in their upkeep. Maybe that's bad, but if I respond to a PO, also if they just have key, I lose. Yeah, I'm just going to be reactive here, and I can hardcast the Force of Vigor next turn if we get a next turn. Okay, Patience Rewarded. They played Mox Pearl and passed the turn. I get some triggers here. The Oath doesn't happen because my opponent doesn't have anything. Atraxa in hand. You know what Atraxa does? She taps for, or she pitches for both green and blue, which means I can play Oko, Elk. I think I'd rather Elk a mana source. I'll Elk their Mox Emerald, and now they have a creature, and I have Force of Will or of Negation to survive this turn cycle, and then I'm just running away. They get to attack, prioritizing Oko, Mox Sapphire. Yeah, they didn't have anything last turn. I'd be surprised if they had anything now. Oath of Druids triggers. Crypt, I lost my flip again. Hopefully my giant lifelink idiot will make that irrelevant. I see in this pool of cards, Vamp Tutor, Force of Will, Mox Sapphire. I'm not going to put Bolus of Citadel in my hand, so Sapphire is the artifact. We can start rolling stuff out. Forbidden Orchard keeps them flush and keeps my Oath triggering. Yep, that's fine to have around. Force of Will versus Vamp Tutor. I did not mill my Time Walk. Vamping for Time Walk actually seems kind of sick, because I already have Force. Oath is just a free green card here, and I just get a creature. Did I pitch an Atraxa? No, I pitched Flash. Alright, yeah. Other Atraxa, and done. And then I draw for turn. Oh wait, I could have vamped right now. I just passed priority. I forgot that was the upkeep. This is why we test. Getting sloppy before Eternal Weekend. Yeah, I could have vamped for Time Walk right now, and that's just like totally free and safe to do. Mox Sapphire's coming in. Forbidden Orchard's coming in. They didn't know about this Black Lotus, but I do have it. And I have an Oko activation. I can activate Mana Crypt, but I think my Lifelink's about to start doing what I need to do there. I can Elk another one of their mana source. I'm going to Elk Mox Sapphire. That one's actually a meaningful color for their deck. And they can't attack through me here. Okay. Yeah, pretty bummed that I missed that that Vamp Tutor, but that's one of those things you do one time, and then you know. Okay, pass the turn. I could Force of Vigor now. I think I'm still chilling, though. Maybe I'm being way too patient, and I should have just Shadow Realmed them. Oh, I can Force of Vigor now. And even pitch the Oath, and I won't even miss it. Yeah, I'm going to take this 2 mana out from under them before this Opal's on. And obviously they get to do it. But it's still gone, and I am holding Force of Will. If I lose this game, it's 1000% my fault. Okay, so they have a Metamorph. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Force of Will that. They have a white in the pool, and they don't have the ability to make blue. Cool. Oh, wow, they're attacking. All right, yeah, they are deciding to give me a bunch of life to get Oko off the table. Reasonable. It's not getting better with him around. And in the end step, I'm going to fetch for Underground Sea while I still can. I don't want to accidentally mill that away, but I can't Vamp Tutor yet. Oh wait, Oath's not going to trigger. Right. It can though. Did I board out an Atraxa? I don't think so. Just making sure before I do something I can't come back from. Okay, float a blue in the end step. I would like to trigger Oath. I would like to refill my hand. The Guy's Blessing's in there somewhere. Crypt Flip. Lost. 1000% loss rate. Doesn't matter. Trigger Oath. Hit the Blessing. I will keep this one, and I want the Blessing to happen first. Shuffle my deck into my deck, including a new Atraxa. Then Atraxa triggers. Look at all these cards. Ancestral Recall. Time Walk. Don't even have to wish for it. Oath is a freebie. Mox is a freebie. Oko's a freebie. And I would like Beseiju more than Luda Delta. Done. I guess I still vamp, though. Like, we're here. Let's do it. I assume there's some way to win the game here. Force of Vigor can put them down to, like, no functional permanence. I could Tinker for Citadel over the top of this. There's no Yogwill or way to recur Time Walk that I could just take 3 turns in a row right now. That's too bad. Okay, I'll grab a Force of Vigor. Emerald. Attack. Oh, they're at 14. It doesn't matter. I didn't need 3 turns. I'm just over here living my best life in ways that don't matter at all. Time Walk. Cool. All right. I think I still like my configuration. Spell Pierce, last card I'm thinking about. Maybe this is good enough if they're operating on thin margins or they're trying to cast non-artifacts in a deck with 4 Workshop. Like, there might be some weakness there, but I think I'm where I want to be. Let's do it. This is a turn 3 Show and Tell with a Force of Vigor in the meantime. And if I draw Oath, I have the turn 1 Oath Orchard. Yeah, I'm going to keep this. Opponent went to 6. Oh, a Black Lotus. Yep, good start. Island, Black Lotus. Mox Sapphire. Just 5 mana so far. How far are we going here? Grim Monolith. Okay. They could Covetous Jewel on turn 1 here. Force of Will. JK, could you imagine me actually having that card? Okay, Mightstone's going to draw 2. That's not as bad as Covetous Jewel. I take those. They got 3 cards in their hand. They got 2 cards in their hand. And 4 mana right now, 4 artifacts. Untapping Grim Monolith is what they decided to do. I could launch the Force of Vigor now, hit the Grim Monolith and the Mightstone, put them down to 3 mana going into the next turn. This might be aggressive, but I do like it. And I need to keep Atraxa in my hand for the Show and Tell, so I pitch Oko here. Alright, let's hope that's good. If I draw another Mox, I can just send it right now. Force of Will. Ooh. Well, I am unlikely to die this turn, but the Force would have to make a tough choice what to pitch if we get there. I hope they just pass. Mana Vault, bummer. They're back up to 6 mana for the important things that they play. Okay, I would love to draw any blue card here. Just give me Force of Will back up on the Show and Tell. Nice. Count it. I have Mox Jet, so I can fetch the Trop and just have all my colors. And Show and Tell, if they have a Jewel, this could get ugly. Looks like they're hard casting a Force. Is that what's going on here? Oh, PO in response. I'm going to force that. If they have Flusterstorm, they got me so good here. But if they don't, I'm going to reload. Atraxa coming in for me, and Moment of Truth. Oh, they have Time Vault. I've got Tropical Island, Force of Will. Ooh, I wish I could hold up the Spell Pierce. Well, Oath of Druids is a freebie. Do I want Boseiju more than I want Trop, actually? If I can take out this Time Vault, I'm worried about very little. A Boseiju, Demonic Tutor, Oath of Druids is a freebie. Mox versus Top. I think Top's better here. And then I have to pick an instant between Force and Spell Pierce. They do only have 3 mana. Okay, I will take Spell Pierce. And done. We got 1 turn to clench our cheeks. I guess I could have taken Mox. Oh no, I can't get the Mox and the Top. That's how Atraxa works. I was about to say I could have taken Force of Will and then Mox Top, flip Top, hope it's a blue card in an emergency. But yeah, we are right now just hoping to fade 1 turn of Key. They actually can't even tinker for it because they don't have the mana for that. They can't PO with the mana they have. Fingers crossed, don't top deck a Key. Ancestral Recall, oh no! Alright, that's 3 more looks. Welcome to Vintage. Stressful as possible at all times, because every deck can kill you with 1 card at any time. Defense Grid, okay. That does not beat me. Alright. Now what do we do? Drawing Bolas to Citadel sucks ass. I'm going to attack for 7. I can Boseiju the Defense Grid and then Spell Pierce them on their turn. I can Demonic Tutor for Time Walk right now and cast it, but that costs me my Boseiju, which is my interaction. I can play Oath and pass, but then if I Boseiju, I'm not holding up Spell Pierce. What does Demonic Tutor get me here? Okay, my Lotus is still in my deck. DT, Lotus, Boseiju, still 1 short of Citadel. DT for Time Walk is so tempting. Losing the Boseiju is very scary. I guess I just play Top and pass here. Can that be true? Okay, Sensei's Top, play it. I have a Legend, so Boseiju costs 1, and then Spell Pierce. Alright, and if they don't actually put the pressure on me where I have to send this interaction, then they're dead to my Time Walk next turn. Okay. I am not confident, but I am ahead. It's up to them to figure this out. And they know about the Boseiju Spell Pierce, so if anything happens, it's because they allow it to. Alright, they're just passing their turn. I'm going to spin my top. Oh, the Time Walk right there on the top, where it belongs. Okay, we win. They're locked out at this point by their own defense grid. If they force me, I Spell Pierce the Force, and then they lose to Time Walk. Okie dokie. Boop. And then I'll go to my extra turn. There we go. I was waiting for the concession. I was like, what are we playing out to here? Cool. And we remain undefeated. Keep it rolling. I am on the play in round 3. I have a turn 1 Show and Tell, but it doesn't have Force backup. And I'm still going to keep. It has the Force, but not an additional blue card. How greedy do I need to be here? Okay, Mox Sapphire. Oh, they appear to be F6'd. My cards are just resolving very quickly here. I'm going to send it. Put in Atraxa. If they had just not passed priority, I would have not sent it here. But the old turn 1 F6 is extremely honest. They do get to tutor a Caracas, which is a beating. I have an Oko and a Narset, so I actually have to make a decision about a Planeswalker here. The Oath is a freebie. Time Walk seems really good. My other sorceries are Demonic Tutor. Ooh, Demonic Tutor might be better, actually, because DT can get Tinker, and then I can outmuscle this Caracas. I'm going to take Force of Will, and Oko's just got to be better versus Shops than Narset does. And Underground Sea versus Pluto Delta, I'll take the Delta. And these are all the choices that I get. They can bounce Atraxa and then do whatever they were going to do on their turn. If I take Time Walk over DT, I have double force, but I think GT is just a better plan to actually win the game. Yeah, I'm gonna stop there. Just a 7/7 lifelink, draw 5 on turn 1. Pretty good. Caracas is gonna bungle it up, but I like me a Bolus to Citadel just fine. Golos can battle. Caracas is in play. Ghost Quarter. I do have a basic in my deck. That's not a strip mine. Soul Ring. They know I have Force blue card. And they just gave me another blue card. Mystic Forge. That's a no way Jose. And I can pitch the Atraxa now. Because they bounced that before they started casting spells, which, if you just wait, then I don't have that blue card around. That's really interesting. I wouldn't have thought of that necessarily myself, but if you know you're gonna, you know I have Force of Will, but I guess if it's a calculation of make me pitch Oko or just not do anything. Okay, so the Demonic Tutor can come up with Tinker and send it, but I won't have my land drop. I think I just deploy this Oath right now. They have a creature. They can bounce that creature with Caracas. Maybe I'm supposed to play Orchard. But if they pick up their creature, they're not winning anymore? Okay. Oath of Druids, get in there. And I am going to Demonic Tutor. I just have to decide if I think that Tinker or Time Walk is better here. I think it's still Tinker. Yeah, I'm going to grab this Tinker, and Flusterstorm is the perfect blue card to pitch in this matchup because you don't want it anyway. Okay, go. They've got a Strip Mine hitting my Underground Sea. Okay. Ghost Quarter hits my Trop. I will tutor up the island for that. And they can attack for 3, then bounce Golos if they think that's better, or they can tread water through Atraxas until the end of time. Okay, they are picking up their Golos, probably the right call. However, I'm about to deliver them some creatures for free. I can also just fire the Citadel here, see where that goes, and then still oath them. Yeah, okay. All right, Tinker away my Mox Sapphire. Bolus the Citadel. Ooh, if I make this land drop, I'm not giving them a creature this turn. Yikes. Okay, Price of doing business. Here's a Forbidden Orchard. Pass the turn. I still have Force up. They just took their only pressure off to try to avoid this from happening. And now it's going to happen anyway. Mox Emerald, and looks like they're passing. They could, like, dismember this spirit in the end step, but that's another Time Walk. Okay, here we go. We're going to mill away this Misty Rainforest, put an Atraxa into play, do some stuff, and then also have Citadel running. Force of Will on top of my deck. Bouncing the Atraxa in response to its trigger, sure. And Oath of Druids is the enchantment, Time Walk is the sorcery. I don't need another Forbidden Orchard. I'll get Tropical Island as my land. Mox Pearl, Atraxa, Force of Will are all freebies. Okay, cool. I'm about to draw Show and Tell, that's good. Mental Misstep sucks. Okay, Mox, Trop. I can just Show and Tell right now. They get Golos again, but their Caracas is already here. Do I have any... I should just always have Atraxas left, right? I pitched 1. There's 1 still in the deck, and the Guy's Blessing is in there somewhere. If I Atraxa Show and Tell now, I get to refire on the misstep. I feel like this shouldn't be this hard, and I'm struggling. Okay, I'm going to Show and Tell. Show and Tell. Atraxa, go in. They have Golos again. This land comes in tapped, even if they play 2 Caracas somehow. But Jukabog, okay. I mean, that's a little annoying, but the Time Walk's in my hand. Gaia's Blessing is here. I'm going to decline on Gaia's Blessing for sure. Lurin Revealed's a sorcery. I'm going to decline on Atraxa, leave her in the deck. Vamp Tutor is my instant. Mox Jet is my artifact. Tropical Island is my land. Done. Okay. Declined the Atraxa. There's still a card I can't play on top of my deck. And Time Walk is for sure happening. And do I want to play another Oath? I could just Oath multiple times here. Because they'll have 3 creatures to my 1 as we go around and around. Do I want that? Is that good? Oh, can I just get into an infinite loop where I Time Walk every turn now? If I see my whole deck twice per turn, and Time Walk is in there getting cycled around, yeah, I think we're there. I play another Oath. Not a legendary permanent, by the way. End step, I'm going to clean up discarding another Atraxa, get her back in the mix, and I don't think I'm going to cast this Lure in Revealed ever. Okay, 2 Oath triggers. Let's go. I don't know if I've ever done this successfully. Just trigger Oath multiple times in a turn. Yes, I'd like to use the ability. Keep the original one. Gaia's Blessing was in the mix. I want that to happen before the Atraxa trigger does. And I did not find the Time Walk on this one, but that's okay. Force, Oath, Orchard. Done. I don't want the Atraxas. Then we get another trigger here. Oh, Time Walk's on top of the deck. I could just draw it in Time Walk. So I can decline to Oath and just draw this Time Walk. There we go. I did not realize the deck had this endgame, but going infinite with your Oaths is pretty sick. Another Oath. Attack. This Mox Emerald's free. I'll send it. Mox Ruby's free. Send it. Oath of Druids. Don't really want that around. Put it into play. Underground Sea's on top of my deck. That's fine. And I could Vamp Tutor for Gaia's Blessing, just make sure that I hit it before I hit an Atraxa, but that doesn't actually matter. Okay, extra turn. Discard Forbidden Orchard. 4 Oath triggers. God, I'm like a child discovering mozzarella sticks. This is so much fun. Oh, I have to keep this one. And then this trigger goes under the Gaia's Blessing, because I want the Time Walk back in there. Then Atraxa trigger, put the Time Walk in my hand, and can I just decline all the rest? Might as well take the Underground Sea. Done. And I'm not going to use Oath's ability anymore. Just looping Time Walks forever. Time Walk. Underground Sea. And then I can still go to discard and lose this other Atraxa. Opponent either doesn't get it or just wants to see me use my clock. There's one Atraxa still in here. Cool. All right. We did it. They finally conceded. I guess I didn't need to even do that one because I just had the extra turn. The opponent is on Golos Shops, Force of Vigor, and Strip Mine. This has been a popular sideboard plan here today. Gitaxian Probe, Mental Misstep out. Blusterstorm out. At least we have a pretty easy sideboard plan. There's no tricky blue shop nonsense happening. This is just, you know, the 3 anti-blue cards out, the 3 anti-non-blue cards in. I don't think I care about Dismembering Golos. I'm just going to go over the top and go infinite. This is a turn 2 show and tell with Force of Negation backup. I'm in. Opponent kept 7 as well. Mox Ruby. Urza Saga. And pass. Can I get a Mox for the turn 1? No, sir. Alright, I'll play around Wasteland wherever I can. They showed me Ghost Quarter, which that is my only basic. And I'm sure they play Strip Mine. Just hoping to get to 3 mana one time in this game, and then let everything else flow from there. Let the good times roll from there. 5 mana in the pool. I can't force a negation of Golos if that's the play. It sure is. Are they just putting Caracas in the bank here? Tabernacle. Okay. So now they have to pay for their Golos every turn. And my deck that tries to win the game with only 1 creature in play has to somehow navigate that. Or, okay, so they can decline to pay for Forbidden Orchard tokens. That's what this is actually about. That's neat, I suppose. Well, I'll give them something to think about. Forbidden Orchard. Trigger. I didn't need to do this, but because they have this Tabernacle, what the hell? Atraxa get in. Another Golos. They have to choose a legend, and then they can tutor the Caracas here, if that is how they want to choose to fight against this. Caracas indeed. Oh, this kind of stinks, actually. Force of Will is my instant, Boseiju is my land, Mox Sapphire is my artifact, and that's the end of that. That was kind of a rough one, not gonna lie. Okay, Mox Sapphire get in, and the Boseiju can destroy the Caracas or the Golos, and they gotta be paying for stuff here. And they probably just don't pay for the Spirit. Oh, they're on beatdown mode, okay. Paying for the Spirit. Okay, Flash is a good draw. Show and Tell is a good draw. Oath's a good draw. Bouncing my Atraxa right now. And Saga's going to do whatever it does here. If they play a Cage, they can get it. That turns off Oath, but not my other payoffs. Cage it is. They've seen the Boseiju in my hand for that one. Sphere of Resistance. I can Force of Negation this. Or I could just enjoy my enormous mana count and ignore this thing? Yeah, I think I'll do it like that. They got me. Academy. Surprise Academy. Crucible of Worlds. Well, that one will be Force of Negation. I'm not in a hurry to get into an Urza Saga loop or a Wasteland lock or any such thing. Okay, deck. How about Oath of Druids? Soul Ring. Underground Sea. Play Soul Ring. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I can play Atraxa next turn, even through the sphere. I wonder if I'm supposed to Boseiju the Academy, or it's probably just the Caracas. Yeah, Boseiju the Caracas, and then cast Atraxa next turn. Adventurous Fair. Mystic Forge, yuck. Well, I hope their own sphere fucks this up for them. I'm not going to pitch my Atraxa, that's my only game plan right now. And I'm going to Boseiju Caracas right now, because if they had any designs of picking up their Golos and refiring it, I'm shutting that shit down right now. Do they have a land with a basic land type? I think there's usually one. Oh, declined, okay. Boseiju is just to Vindicate in this deck. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And you get a pal. And Atraxa, reload. Another Atraxa, Black Lotus. A Black Lotus is my artifact. Force of Vigor is my instant. Lorien Revealed is my sorcery. Oko, C, Atraxa. That was a big one. Is Force of Vigor better than Brainstorm? And I think pretty confidently yes. And I can't play the Lotus here, so I just gotta pass. Oh, I have too many cards in my hand. Bummer. Spell Pierce. Okay, and I can just F6 here, let them click through their Tabernacle stuff, and hope I don't die to this Mystic Forge. This is their last turn where they get to do meaningful things, but they do have quite the engine in play. They can also tutor with Inventor's Fair if they desire to do so. Looks like we are done paying for spirits, or they didn't pay for one and then paid for the other two. Did that happen? Did I imagine that? Didn't they have 3 when they started the turn? I don't know what's going on anymore. Okay, Mystic Forge has exiled Wasteland from the top of the deck, and our fingers are crossed. Oh, they can't cast spells from libraries. You may cast artifacts. Yeah, what? Never mind. I don't even care about Mystic Forge. Their own hate piece is locking it out. They're just over there standing on their own genitals. They can tutor with Inventor's Fair and play a 1-drop right now. All right, sweet. Yeah, they're just passing the turn. Okay, never mind. I'm feeling great. Use my basic island to pay for the Atraxa. Underground Sea, Atraxa attack. Their life total dwindles. I have this backup Atraxa as force fodder. I can get Oko in here. Do I even care about Oko, playing Oko? If I play Oko, I can Elk the Sphere of Resistance and play Black Lotus. I do like having Oko in play. Probably should have used Soul Ring on the 2 colorless there. Just playing fast and loose. I'm gonna Elk their Sphere, which is another thing they have to pay for with their Tabernacle still. And I'm holding up Force Blue card and Force of Vigor. We'll double Vindicate. Trying to think of what their lines are among Golos shops tech that I know. They could Inventor's Fair for a Crucible of Worlds and just play this Caracas again. But I have the force for that. I could even let it happen. And then Force of Vigor. Oh, well, they just had it. All right, well. Now it's time to actually think about this. About to say I could let it happen, Force of Vigor the Crucible, and then just spam Atraxas until they give up. But Oko's dead here, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll pitch the Lorien Revealed and keep the backup Atraxa in my grip if I need to reload. Atraxa just draws more cards than Lorien Revealed, and I can play either one here. So I am content with whatever the situation is. They are tutoring now, probably going to get another Crucible. If that is the play, I let them... Well, I don't let them, but I can't stop them from bouncing Atraxa, and then Force of Vigor can mess up the... They need another mana. They're not even there, but they did just tutor for it. Okay, cool. That's great. Okay, so I get another big swing here. I get another Oko activation. I could even play another Atraxa if I want. Mox Ruby, get in there. And Combat, get in there. If I fire another Atraxa here, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I think that's worth doing. White, green, blue, colorless. Or I need a black. Black, colorless, colorless, colorless. Atraxa, make it happen. I'll keep the original one. She's been doing a good job. Looking for Time Walk here. Didn't find it. Did find Ancestral Recall. Okay, Ancestral, Oath, top, Beseiju, Show and Tell. That's the spread. Done. Ancestral, target myself. Can I find my Time Walk? No, I cannot. Do I have a fetchable land left? I think there's more drops. Yeah, there's 2 more drops in there. A fetch, Tropical Island, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I could cast Lorien Revealed. I still have an Oko activation. I could Narset and try to spike the Time Walk. I kind of like that. I'm going to spend Lotus to Narset here. And looking for Time Walk. Tinker. Can't cast that here. I will put it in the bank, though. Oh, there's still a Grafdigger's Cage. That's not even good. If I Elk... Who do I want to Elk? Mox Ruby? That's 1 less mana they have, and another thing they have to pay for. And 1 less art. That's 2 less mana they have, and another thing they have to pay for. Okay. I was probably supposed to play the top here. I just clicked. I'll discard a Show and Tell. What is going on here? Why don't they have to pay for their Ruby and Sphere? Does MTGO not know what's going on here? That's pretty annoying if true. Wow, okay. Alright, apparently that's bugged. I had no idea. Okay, so they get to play Crucible, bounce my Atraxa, and then I can Beseiju the Caracas, try to reload. Okay, yeah, they bounce Atraxa, Force of Vigor kills Crucible and Golos, and then I Beseiju the Caracas, and we're right back where we need to be. Alright, it's fine. We're fine. Everything's fine. And I also get to keep Oko because they have to split their attacks here. Force of Vigor, kill Golos and Crucible, pitch the Oath. I just don't even need that anymore. And there's a Cage in play that's also locking them out of the game. That's just way better for me. Beseiju this Caracas. Just trying to get F6 value. The only way I can lose this match is if I time out. Okay, Oko survives at 3. Oath of Druids. Okay, here we go. White, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nope. 5, 6, 7. That's a better way to tap the mana. They get a thing. I get a trigger. Time Walk. We're there. You're dead. Time Walk. Mox Jet. Forbidden Orchard. Vamp Tutor. And take an extra Atraxa for good luck. Mox Jet. Time Walk. GG. Alright, cool. Alright, that got a little wild, and apparently Tabernacle is bugged. I didn't know that. It doesn't see the Elks. But that was a smooth dismantling. On to the final round. Trophies live. I'm on the draw in the final trophy round. I'm going to keep this hand that can Tinker on turn 1. My hand is pretty bad against shops, if we're against that for the 5th time in this league, but my anti-blue is pretty reasonable. I can misstep this now, so I will. I'm just going to go after that. Holding the misstep for like Pyroblast when they just tap their red. If they play Mox Ruby right now, I'll be bummed out. Okay, Mox Sapphire is the best draw in my deck, or something that makes blue for this Flusterstorm. No love, but still going to just send it. Put you on that Force of Will check. Tinker. Maybe I'm supposed to keep Ruby, but if I end up passing the turn at all here, that's no good. Okay, I have an Oath. I have to stop. Party's over. But, I mean, I keep hands that have turn 1 Oath. This one was turn 1 Oath plus. And there's the Orchard. Oh, Academy Go. Yeah, that Mental Misstep so far has stopped 5 mana of their development. Okay, another Orchard on top. I'll play it. And, alright, well, now I am hanging out with the Orchard with Flusterstorm backup. This Bolus of Citadel has basically just drawn me 2 cards, but they were Oath Orchard. Nice. Okay, We saw Tolarian Academy, Soul Ring, and Island in that deck. Not a whole lot to go off of, but I suspect that Spell Pierce will be good here. If they have Tolarian Academy, they probably have enough artifacts to support it. Do I even have much of a sideboard here? I could just hit submit here. I don't know how hard they're going, like if Mind Break Trap makes any sense. The Force of Vigor, that's good against basically any Urza Saga strategy. What am I going to cut here? I just like all my cards, and I don't know what I'm doing. Fire it back in, same 60 for the trophy. I've got a turn 1 top plus spin it, lots of mana. I'm going to keep. Not super interactive here, unless you count Besager's interaction, which it can be if I need it to be. I can certainly Orchard, Ruby, Soul Ring, hold up Besager, pass. Opponent Multi 5, we'll take that. Volcanic Island. Mox Jet, okay. Soul Ring. Mental Misstep, oh, could you imagine? That would be so sick. Am I getting tinkered this time? Doesn't look like it. Okay. We're going to my turn. Mox Ruby. Soul Ring. I'm going to cycle one of these Lorien Revealeds now that I have 2 of them. I'm going to get Tropical Island, play Trop, play Sensei's Divining Top. This is a pretty good turn 1. My shields are down, but I'm going to start getting card selection. An Oath is good because I have Orchard, and Atraxa is good because I have Show. I could also just shove Lorien Revealed next turn. Ooh, strip mine. Somebody's feeling naughty. If they decided to pass instead of strip me or cast a spell, I will top till I drop here. They've got 2 cards in their hand, that Multi 5 catching up with them. I could have anything over here. Something's happening. Are we getting Notion Thiefed? Oh, Paradoxical Outcome, sure. It's a little end step PO to remove all of your interactive mana in the end step. Just firing off the strip mine. Okay, that seemed crazy to me. Narset, who I cannot cast. Oko, who I cannot cast. Both of these are disappointing, but this Narset is a unit. I will put her on the top. Play the Orchard. And I guess I just pass, or I can spin the top here. I should have done that before. Oh no, I hit the wrong button. Fucking fuck. All right, well, if I lose, it's because of that. That's embarrassing. Well, all right, Multi 5. The best matchup is Misclick Central. Okay, the Mox Jet's back. The Soul Ring's back. Oh my god, what a nightmare. And my plan was to spin the Polluted Delta to the top. So now I can't do that either. All right, I can Lorien Revealed. Cycle that for a land. Ugh. Boy, this sucks. All right, I'll replay the top first. I can still do everything else I want. And I'm so bummed out about that. Now I'm thinking is if there's a pivot, because like shoving Narset onto a board where I have to give them a thing that pressures Narset to pay it out doesn't seem very good. I'm actually going to look at my top 3 cards with top and see if I can find an Oath or an Atraxa here. I did find an Atraxa. That means if I put Delta, Trop, Atraxa on top, I can fire in the Oko here, see if they have anything for it. Yeah, I think I just start testing their counterspells now. Oko. This is obviously not how I wanted to play this game, but I'm making the best of what I got at this point. Okay, that Pyroblast would have countered my Show and Tell. Glad to be done with it. A little worried about what else is going on over there. And I've given them a 20-turn clock to work with. I know the top of my deck is 2 lands and then some other stuff. If I cycle Lorien Revealed, I don't have to give them another thing. That also gives me 3 fresh cards on the top that I could flip into a Force of Will. I'm going to get a Trop here, play the Trop, and then blue colorless, Show and Tell. Question mark. They can't hardcast Force here. They only have 1 blue. I could just pay for a Flusterstorm. They're in the tank on it here pretty good. I wonder what they're thinking about. Like, if you can interact with this Show and Tell, I suspect you do it. Maybe they have Bolus the Citadel in their hand and Flusterstorm, like Pyroblast, and they're like, wait, I could get my Bolus the Citadel in. That would be powerful if it happens. I hope they decide soon, though. I got places to be today. Trophies to collect. Okay, Show and Tell has resolved. I've clicked on Atraxa. Okay, Dress Down's pretty smart. It's just a 7/7 lifelink. And from there, I will pass. And they have a 7/7 lifelink to beat. Black Lotus, yuck. And they're passing the turn. I'll spin my top in the end step. Ancestral Recall and Oath of Druids. I like both of those cards. Draw for turn. I'm going to start with combat. See if I can scare them into doing something reckless. Nope. They just took their damage. And Ancestral Recall target me. How are we doing here? Even if they counter this, I can flip top and play Oath and get another Atraxa next turn. They are past the point where out-controlling me is going to be a game plan. They do need to go over the top with some combo. Mindbreak Trap on the hard cast. Sure. They lose their Lotus for that. And we are in my main phase, so I'm going to look at my top cards with Soul Ring. See if I can find a Force here. Nope. And that's going to work. And then I'm going to draw this Oath and cast the spell. Ooh, Force pitching Mindbreak Trap. Okay, they had another trap, but that was only spell number 2. Alright, so they are Hellbent. I can play Narset next turn, and I'm getting in there with Atraxa. If they draw Pio right now, they might get something going. Alright, that's bad news for you. This means I get to resolve Narset, and the outs I was worried about, I'm basically not worried about anymore. They're going to be at 5, so Bolas' Citadel isn't great, even if they rip the Tinker. Atraxa, make it happen. Opponent's at 5. I have to give them a creature here. Not that they've done anything with the one I gave them already. And I'm going to tap my Soul Ring, because I'm going to play top with the floating mana anyway. Narset, find me the goods. Force of Negation that I can't play, but if I top into a blue card, it's suddenly alive. I get 3 fresh looks at any blue card to stop whatever they might try to do here, which is already extremely thin. Misclicks can't stop me! 5-0 with Oath. Wow, this deck felt good. Yeah, at no point was I like, bummer, Atraxa's in my hand. She got pitched to Forces, she got Show and Told, she got cast. She was jumping in and out. Discovering that infinite turns loop with multiple Oaths in that one game was cool. I mean, I'm sure I didn't discover it. I'm sure Vintage players know about it, but I'm just picking up this deck for the first time, and that was a really satisfying way to close out a situation that I was already far enough ahead. I do like when my Vintage decks can go actual infinite in some kind of way. There was a point in this league where I was like, well, I can't regrow my Time Walk. Turns out you can. You just need to work a little harder than like a Yogg-Will or a Regrowth. This deck was awesome. We played against mostly matchups that you want with the deck, which is what literally the definition of a well-positioned deck. And as a result, we defeated all our opponents. I don't know. You just saw me play this for an hour and a half. I have no other words, no other thoughts to add to this. Extremely well-constructed deck. Big fan of it. I was hoping I wouldn't like it, so it wouldn't be clouding up my thoughts for Eternal Weekend, but I do like it. This is now on the list of things I would consider. Argold, thank you for asking me to play Vintage. Glad we got to put up a trophy. Everyone else, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you next time.